Okay, so I get it, like, yeah. Okay, so they can't see me. So how am I supposed to do this?
Just take it in your pants.